Hello. I found this 1907 photograph of the Toronto skyline taken from Toronto Island among the holdings of the U.S. Library of Congress. I was excited to discover that the library also holds a rare panoramic photograph of Toronto's waterfront. Shot by an unknown photographer in 1910, it has almost a 7:1 horizontal aspect ratio and takes in the complete harbor from east to west, looking from the city towards the lake. It was taken from one of the city's first skyscrapers, the 15-story Traders Bank, which still stands at Colborne and Yonge. Note the roof's vertical striping and rounded window tops. Let's look at a few more photos to prepare us for what we'll see in the 1910 panorama. At one time, the clock tower of City Hall was one of the most prominent landmarks visible from the waterfront. So was the Board of Trade at Front and Yonge, seen in this 1901 hand-colored postcard. It's the building with the rounded front and the inverted funnel-shaped roof. Note the difference in these two postcard views of the Yonge Street docks. The Board of Trade building is visible in both of them, but in the bottom postcard, there's a building behind it, the Traders Bank, built 1905. Here's a view from the top of the Traders Bank. Note the vertical striping and rounded window tops at lower right. There's the Board of Trade building further down Yonge, and across from it, the ornate four-story building is the Customs House at the southwest corner of Yonge and Front. Here's a better view of the Customs House. And here's a better view of the Board of Trade. It was home to the TTC from the 1920s through the 1950s. Here is the opening frame of the panorama. We'll sweep across it from left to right and view it as though it were a piece of century-old movie footage. Notice the roof and rounded window top at lower left. Yes, the photographer was situated atop the Traders Bank. That's Front Street. We see the buildings on the south side and the tops of the building on the north side. Near the large smokestack at left, I believe, is the Gooderham's distillery. It was built in the 1830s along the water's edge, but then the harbor was continuously filled in. The Big Spit is the beginning of what is now the Leslie Street Spit. A shipping channel was dredged out to allow for a teeming traffic of both freight and passenger vessels. All of the many wharfs, warehouses, and boathouses along the waterfront were demolished as the city expanded ever outward into the harbor. To the right, a steamer seems just now about to come in to dock at the foot of Church Street. And a little further west, at the foot of Yonge, is the city's principal public wharf. And there's the Board of Trade building with its distinctive funnel top. A strip of sunlight illuminates people and traffic at Yonge and the Esplanade. There again is Customs House. It was a federal building erected 1876. Behind it, the William Irving's Examining House, built in the 1870s. Both buildings were demolished around 1919. Not visible is the smaller Bank of Montreal, now the home of Canada's Hockey Hall of Fame. West of Yonge, we see numerous new office, factory, and warehouse buildings, all constructed after the Great Fire of 1904. The water towers on their roofs are evidence of a more rigorous fire code. That large vacant stretch of Front Street West will be the future home of the 3rd Union Station. Meanwhile, the 3 towers of the 2nd Union Station are visible about midway up on the right-hand side. Here's a better view of Toronto's 2nd Union Station. I'm Bill Gladstone. I've enjoyed taking you on this brief walk through Toronto's past. This video is brought to you by my publishing house, Now and Then Books, producer of The Rise of the Toronto Jewish Community and other fine titles. Please visit my websites, www.billgladstone.ca and www.nowandthenbookstoronto.com. See you again!